got a comment here from BSEC. He goes 100%. Many people are now working longer. Going back to your comment that you said about people working longer at home. I've got a question here. What is a problem you see every day that ought to have been solved by now? So as a CISO with many years experience, you're kind of like, really? Still?
Identify. If you look at the NIST CSF, the cybersecurity framework, and you go through the 5 phases, first phase is identify. If you look at the CIS CSC 20, the first couple of aspects of it are identify, right? Asset management, identify your assets and manage your assets, right? So every good framework starts with identify. And identify sounds really simple. What hardware do I have? What software do I have? What data do I have, right? Start with that. Start with identifying what the heck your problem areas and your targets for the bad guys even are. And here I am 30 years later, and we still suck at identify.
Okay.
I don't know anyone who's doing it well. There's 1,000,001 solutions out there that'll help automate it and get you going well. I don't want to name vendor names, but there's one solution that I found recently that even won an RSA sandbox that is finally introducing some good innovation and technology there for identifying your hardware assets, for example. That's starting to get under control. People have CMDBs. People have multiple agents and things like you can do secure management software for your endpoints that can actually also monitor and observe and state what the state of the box is and report that into a dynamic CMDB. You can do app scanning and other layers and SIMs and things. You can triangulate. There's a lot of things you can do to observe your shop using different tools that may reside as agents, may reside as sort of network sniffing type things that are agentless. And all of those can triangulate and can combine and can feed your configuration management database and basically say, here we are, here's what we have, here's the most accurate and real-time list of all the assets in the shop. Even with all of that tooling and all of those things, it's still going to be an incomplete list, and it's still going to be an outdated list pretty much anytime you touch it, right? We still haven't solved the identify problem.
Wow. That's good. Thank you so much. Now, next question we have here. Has there been a way that you have helped your team or self defeat the imposter syndrome?
Oh, absolutely. With my team, here's what I do. I actually rotate responsibilities in my team, even for the junior members of the team, and deliberately pick roles of, tasks and roles that need to be done in the coordination and organization of the team in its daily life, and choose ones that are just slightly beyond somebody's skill set and deliberately give them that. Say, okay, you, Mr. Intern, who's just walked in the door and has never done this before, you're now in charge of doing this one thing, right? You're on your own. You've got help from the others if you need it, but I'm looking to you to be the accountable guy. I'm not going to have you ride shotgun and the other guy's accountable. You're going to be accountable. That's for the intern. For the manager, I'm going to challenge you to start doing the kinds of things the director does. For the director, I'm going to challenge you to do the things that a vice president does. And always have a good, solid feeling and foundation of where your team is at and where you are at as an individual, and always be pushing those boundaries. If you are not at least once a day doing something that takes you out of your comfort zone, you're never going to overcome your imposter syndrome. You have to do something every day that makes you uncomfortable. And in that productive and good way, right? I mean, not, don't just go randomly be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable for a reason. And that reason should always be to further yourself, challenge yourself, better yourself, and push your limits and gain and gather some new skill, some new capability. And the odds are you're going to first go out there and you're going to be horrible at it. It's just going to happen. That's okay. Keep at it. Keep trying. Keep challenging yourself. Do it once a day. I guarantee you 3 months from now, you'll feel comfortable with things that used to make you uncomfortable.
It's one of those cliches, right? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
You always hear that, and that's good. I mean, you hear that so many times where people are kind of like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm a little scared." And you're saying, which I totally agree, is just go for it, and you're gonna fail successfully, and have fun with it, and just know you're going to. Then it's okay.
In the world of psychology, that's actually called exposure therapy. And I've personally leveraged that tool in my own life to overcome phobias, right? Like very deliberately facing my phobia, doing the thing I'm deathly afraid of, forcing myself to do it over and over and over and over and over until I was no longer afraid of it, kept at it, and got to where it was actually an enjoyable experience. And I will share what that phobia is: public speaking. Really? I used to be terrified of it. I now have a podcast. I'm now on stages giving keynotes all the time. Here I am live on video right now. I used to be terrified of public speaking. And the way I overcame it was by forcing myself to do it little bits at a time, and never letting up and never giving up. And eventually I overcame that fear.